The symbol of salt. Salt is one of the simplest elements on earth, yet it carries a deep spiritual significance that has been honored for thousands of years. It is not just something we sprinkle on our food for flavor. It is a symbol of purity, preservation, and prosperity. In almost every culture and tradition, salt has been used as a way to cleanse, protect, and attract blessings. From the deserts of the Middle East to the temples of the East, salt has always been seen as sacred, a reminder that even the smallest, most ordinary things can hold extraordinary spiritual power. Think about it. Salt preserves food, preventing decay and corruption. In the same way, it symbolizes the preservation of our inner energy, our values, and our blessings. Salt purifies. It removes what is unclean, what is heavy, what does not belong. When we invite salt into our space, we are making a statement, whether consciously or unconsciously. I want to be cleansed of negativity. I want my environment to be purified. I want to make room for blessings to enter. Salt also represents balance. Just a pinch of it can transform the taste of food, turning something bland into something flavorful. Spiritually, it teaches us the importance of balance in life. Balancing work and rest, faith and action, giving and receiving. Without balance, life feels tasteless, burdensome, or overwhelming. Salt whispers the reminder that balance is the key to joy, peace, and abundance. And let us not forget, salt has always been linked with wealth. In ancient times, it was so valuable that people traded it like gold. Soldiers were even paid in salt, which is where the word salary comes from. This history shows us that salt is more than a mineral. It is a reminder of value, worth, and prosperity. Keeping it in your room becomes a symbolic way of aligning with the flow of abundance, as if to say, I am ready to receive wealth in all its forms, material, spiritual, and emotional. But the true power of salt lies in intention. If you see it as only grains in a bowl, then that is all it will ever be. But if you see it as a tool of cleansing, a symbol of prosperity, a reminder of divine provision, then those tiny grains become powerful. They become spiritual anchors that help you focus on what truly matters: purity of heart, clarity of mind, and openness to wealth. So when you place salt in your room, do not do it as a ritual without meaning. Do it as a declaration. Look at it and remind yourself, just as this salt purifies, so is my life being purified. Just as this salt preserves, so are my blessings being preserved. Just as this salt has value, so do I, and so does my future. In that moment, salt stops being ordinary. It becomes extraordinary, a symbol of cleansing, preservation, and the flow of wealth waiting to enter your life. The weight of negative energy. One of the greatest blockages to wealth and abundance is not always the lack of opportunity, resources, or talent. It is the unseen weight of negative energy that lingers around us. This energy can take many forms. The silent doubts that creep into our minds, the fear of failure that paralyzes our steps, the envy of others that subtly pushes against us, or even the unhealed wounds of the past that whisper, "You don't deserve better." These invisible forces may not be visible to the eye, but they are heavy on the heart, and they create walls that stop blessings from flowing freely into our lives. Negative energy is like dust in a room. You may not notice it at first, but slowly it gathers, layer by layer, until everything feels heavy, dim, and lifeless. In the same way, unspoken doubts, toxic thoughts, and the weight of bad memories settle into our hearts and minds. The more we allow them to stay, the more they cloud our vision and block the light of prosperity from shining in. And just as a room needs to be cleaned to breathe freely again, so does our inner space need cleansing to invite new blessings. This is where salt becomes a powerful symbol. Salt has been known throughout history to draw out impurities, not only from food, but also from the environment. Spiritually, it is believed to absorb negativity, to pull out the invisible toxins that surround us, and to create a shield against energies that are not meant for us. When you keep salt in your room, you are not only placing a substance there, you are making an intention. I choose to cleanse my space, to release the weight of negativity, and to open myself to abundance. But here is the truth. Salt by itself is not enough. It is not the grains of salt that hold the magic, it is the belief and intention behind them. If you keep salt in your room with a fearful heart, thinking on lie of curses and negativity, then you are still feeding the very energy you want to escape. But if you keep it with faith, with the clear belief that you are releasing the old and inviting the new, then it becomes powerful. The salt becomes a mirror of your own inner cleansing. Wealth, in its deepest sense, is not just money in your hand. It is peace in your heart, clarity in your mind, and freedom in your soul. Negative energy blocks all of these. It traps you in cycles of fear and scarcity. But when you remove it, when you allow your environment and spirit to be purified, something shifts. Your mind begins to think clearer, your heart feels lighter, your actions flow with confidence. And in this state, opportunities come more easily, blessings arrive more naturally, and wealth, in all its forms, begins to flow in. So the message is clear. Release the weight of negative energy. Cleanse your space, cleanse your mind, cleanse your heart. Let salt be your reminder that nothing toxic, heavy, or unworthy has the right to stay in your life. The moment you let go of negativity, you create room for abundance. And when there is room, wealth flows in. The act of placement. Placing salt in your room may seem like a small and simple act, but when it is done with awareness and intention, it becomes something powerful. It is not about superstition or blind ritual. It is about aligning your mind, your heart, and your space with the flow of positivity and abundance. The act of placement is symbolic, a way of declaring to yourself and to the universe, I release what does not serve me, and I open the door to what will uplift me. Think of how intentional actions carry power. Lighting a candle is not only about fire and wax, it is about setting the mood, inviting peace, and creating sacred space. In the same way, placing salt in your room is not about a bowl of white crystals. It is about a spiritual declaration that this space belongs to light, purity, and blessing. It is a way of saying, no negativity is welcome here. Only peace, only growth, only wealth may enter. There are many ways people place salt in their rooms. Some keep it in a small bowl in a corner, others place it under the bed, and some sprinkle a little near windows or doors. But the most important thing is not where you put it, but how you place it. If you simply drop it without awareness, it remains just salt. But if you place it mindfully, with faith in your heart, it becomes a tool of transformation. Imagine this moment. You take a small bowl of salt, you hold it in your hands, and before setting it down, you close your eyes. You breathe deeply, and you whisper an intention. This salt will absorb negativity. This salt will protect my space. This salt will open the way for blessings. As you place it in your room, you are no longer doing something ordinary. You are inviting a shift in energy. You are declaring that you are ready to let go of heaviness and to welcome light. This simple act also serves as a constant reminder. Each time you see that bowl of salt, it speaks silently to your spirit. Stay pure, stay balanced, stay open to blessings. Just as the salt sits quietly and absorbs impurities, your faith is working quietly in the background, removing obstacles and preparing the path for abundance to flow. The act of placement also strengthens your focus. Too often our environment reflects the chaos of our minds. By intentionally placing salt in your room, you train yourself to be mindful of your space, to keep it clean, calm, and welcoming. And a clear space creates a clear mind. With a clear mind, opportunities are easier to see, decisions are easier to make, and wealth flows in naturally. So never underestimate the power of placement. It is not superstition. It is symbolism. It is not magic. It is mindset. When you place salt in your room with faith, you are not just arranging your space, you are arranging your energy, your intentions, and your destiny. With every placement, you are planting a seed of abundance. And with faith, that seed will grow into wealth, prosperity, and peace. The flow of wealth and abundance. Wealth is not only about money, it is about the energy of abundance that flows through every area of your life. When your spirit is aligned with peace, when your space is free from negativity, and when your intentions are pure, then wealth begins to flow in ways you never expected. It shows up not only in your bank account, but also in your health, your relationships, your opportunities, and even in the calmness of your mind. Keeping salt in your room is a reminder that abundance flows where there is openness. Just as water flows into an open container, blessings flow into a heart and home that are open to receive. When negativity fills a space, it creates blockages. You may work hard, but things may not move forward. You may have dreams, but obstacles appear again and again. But when you take steps to cleanse your space, even as simple as keeping salt with the right intention, you begin to dissolve those blockages. Suddenly, the same efforts bring greater results. The same doors that seemed locked begin to open. The flow of wealth is also tied to gratitude. When you see salt placed in your room, let it not only remind you of protection, but also of thankfulness. Say to yourself, I am grateful for what I have, and I am open to more. Gratitude multiplies blessings. Just as salt enhances the flavor of food, gratitude enhances the flow of wealth in life. When you are thankful, you attract more reasons to be thankful. Abundance also requires trust. Sometimes we try to control everything, worrying about where money will come from or how blessings will arrive. But when you create a positive, peaceful space, you are showing the universe that you trust the process. You are saying, I release fear. I trust that I am guided. I believe that wealth is on its way. This shift from fear to faith is what transforms scarcity into abundance. The presence of salt in your room is a symbol, but it is also a teacher. It teaches patience because salt works quietly and slowly. It teaches humility because wealth is not about greed, but about balance and sharing. It teaches clarity because just as salt clears impurities, your faith clears away doubts. And through this teaching, you begin to align yourself with the true flow of abundance. When you consistently nurture this practice, you will notice subtle changes. The arguments in your home may reduce. The heaviness in your mind may lighten. Opportunities for growth may start appearing. Finances may improve, not suddenly like a miracle, but gradually like the sunrise that pushes away the night. This is the real flow of wealth, steady, natural, and unstoppable when aligned with divine energy. So remember this truth. Keeping salt in your room is not just about chasing wealth. It is about creating harmony. And when harmony is present, wealth becomes a natural guest in your life. Money, peace, health, love, and opportunity all begin to flow together. You are not chasing abundance. You are attracting it. And the more you believe, the more you receive. As we come to the end of this journey, let us pause and reflect on what we have uncovered. Something as simple, as ordinary, as salt, a substance we use daily without thought, can carry within it a deep spiritual lesson and a key to transformation. But the true power is not in the salt itself. It is in the awareness, the intention, and the faith with which we use it. When you keep salt in your room with mindfulness, you are not practicing superstition. You are practicing symbolism. You are training your spirit to understand that negativity must be absorbed and released, and that blessings flow only into a clean and open space. The salt becomes a mirror of your own inner work, absorbing doubt, fear, and heaviness, and leaving behind clarity, peace, and readiness for abundance. The act may be small, but it carries within it a reminder of some of the greatest spiritual truths. Life is not about what you have, but about the energy you carry. Wealth is not only about money, but about balance, gratitude, and flow. And abundance is not about chasing, but about creating space within yourself and your environment so that blessings can naturally find their way to you. Think about it this way. Salt never demands attention. It sits quietly, doing its work. It doesn't shout. It doesn't show off. But without it, life loses flavor. In the same way, true abundance does not always arrive in loud or dramatic ways. Sometimes it comes softly, in peace of mind, in opportunities that quietly knock, in relationships that nurture, in unexpected gifts that appear when you least expect them. And just like salt enhances every meal, abundance enhances every part of your existence. This simple practice also teaches you the importance of faith. You may not see results instantly, but trust that shifts are happening in the unseen. Just as salt works invisibly to purify, so too does faith work invisibly to align your life with prosperity. You must believe in the flow of energy, even when you cannot see it with your eyes. That belief itself becomes the magnet that draws blessings closer. As you move forward, remember that keeping salt in your room is not the final answer. It is the beginning. It is a symbol to remind you to keep your heart grateful, your mind clear, and your space open. It is a call to action, to release negativity, to embrace peace, and to live with trust that you are divinely supported. So tonight, as you place salt in your room, do it with intention. Whisper your prayer, set your vision, and affirm your readiness for wealth and abundance. Then let go, trust, and watch how the universe begins to align with your faith. Because abundance is not far from you. It is already flowing toward you. All you need to do is open the door. And sometimes the key to that door is as simple, as quiet, and as powerful as a small bowl of salt.